Hello, hello guys. Um, it's always hey honey. It's always a privilege to come your way, and I want to thank whoever is watching. Zena, thank you for watching from the other side of the house, and thank you for watching, Constance. Thank you for watching, Reverend Edward. God bless you for the good work you're doing for this book. I thank God for your life, sir. And I have the first review with a very good friend of mine, and who has been very, very instrumental in the editing of the book and bouncing of ideas. Alberta Premper, thank you for watching. So I will give some time, and then whilst I am connecting Tolu, I'll play the song that inspired me so much when I was writing this book.
As free as the light, like the rays of the sun, running to every corner. We are up ahead, and the world has got to follow. We are not afraid, cause we're
Hey man, good, good,
Hey,
good,
how you doing?
good. So I'm gonna put off the music now, and then we'll start the show. Hey man, thank you for doing this with me. It's
No
like
worries.
the first, my first ever book review.
Mine
So
too.
yeah, yeah. So hey, let's just let's just get it going on. I mean, like I spoke to you earlier on, we're not gonna do the conventional, get a friend, come and tell all the nice things they like or may not like about the book and get people to buy the book. Not necessarily that. We just want to genuinely discuss the things in the book that stand out for us, just for about 5-10 minutes, and then
Okay.
we invite people to. I mean, when I say 5-10 minutes, I mean being a Ghanaian, it could become 10,
Like
15
2
minutes.
hours.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing, Natasha. You know, when your sister-in-law shares your book with you, you know that you are really blessed. So thank you for the love, Natasha. So um yeah, so over to you. The ball is in your court now. Just fire on whatever you want to say, whatever you want to ask about the book, because of course you were there. Um, you were there when we were writing. I mean, we did a lot of editing through the midnight.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I think what would be really good is for you to kind of share kind of some of the stuff that you shared with me about why you wrote the book. What does the book mean to you? What do you hope the book is going to do for people?
excellent. That's a good question. You know what? In in 2009, I heard a song, the song I was playing earlier, and the song said, "Here and now, we are the light. We are as free as the light, like the rays of the sun running through every corner. We
Hmm.
are up ahead, and the world has got to follow." That line, "We are up ahead, and the world has got to follow," just like struck the chord in me. I'm just thinking like, so we are the light that makes us the people the world has to follow. But the trend I was seeing was that, not to really criticize Christianity, but I thought, were we really being the light we're called to? Because anytime I heard people think, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, I just thought, did we really understand the gravity of that assignment? So I was very inspired. I did a youth conference, and from that time in 2009, that topic has never left my heart. Every time I read the
Mm-hmm.
Bible, I think, wow, you're supposed to be the example, you're supposed to be the light, you're supposed to bring illumination. And I started doing a lot of reading on the light. And one thing I learned is that light doesn't only bring illumination, it also brings warmth. And I was like,
Yeah,
wow,
that's true.
we live we live in a cold and a dark world. So it's easy for me to say, man, this world is crazy, it's messed up. But what am I going to do? So that is one of the things that really inspired me to write this book.
Okay, that's cool. And so one of the things that we really talked about is like, who is this book aimed at? Like, who are you really trying to reach with it? Like, who do you feel like the message would resonate with?
You know what? I'm not even trying to even be politically correct. I'm a Christian teacher, so I write primarily for a Christian audience. Am I saying that I am intentionally trying to exclude every non-Christian? No. But sometimes, if you do not have a target group in mind and you attempt to write for everybody, you
Mm,
will end up not standing for anything. Like you know, you will try to appease everybody and be so careful about what you write. But I am a Christian. I believe the words of Jesus Christ. And so I write to other fellow Christians and anybody else who wants to read, but primarily my target is the Christians who are the light of the world, who are called to be the light. But I
mm,
believe that there may be others who, through this clarion call, may say, you know what, I'm not really about this whole Jesus stuff, but let me let me give me a try. And because if I'm called to be the light of the world, then I want to know who this light of the world is. So
mm.
that's just the point of it.
That's cool. So explain a bit more about kind of being the light and what does that mean in our kind of day-to-day life? Because in the book you talk about, you know, understanding what it means, you know, where the light comes from, you know, how do we shine? So explain a bit more about kind of some of those concepts that you've written about.
Yeah, you know, and one thing I'll say is that I may use very, very fancy vocabulary every now and then. And
And we talked
so
about that a lot, right?
I was going to say, we talk, I may use fancy, but mostly my concepts are very, very simple.
Mm,
Jesus came into the world. He says, I'm the light of the world. And so those who receive and believe on him, he says, now you are the light of the world.
mm-hmm,
So what he is, he has made us to reflect who he is to the world. So it is a very, very serious assignment,
mm,
yet it's also not complicated
mm,
because we are not trying to go out there and do anything with our own strength, with our own power.
mm,
We are merely mirroring the brilliance and the strength and the power of our Savior. We are reflecting the light we receive from our Savior. And in a practical way, it is just like things like right in the corner where you are. We all have our own little sphere of influence. You know,
mm,
I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I work. I'm not called to save the whole world in one day, to solve the whole. But for my wife, I can decide that in an era where people have such horror stories about marriage, I would let my wife really experience the light of God through how I relate with her.
Mm.
My children, there's a lot of problems with, you know, dysfunctional homes and everything around the world. We can talk about it all day and we can fix it. We can't fix all these problems, but I can say that for my children, I will intentionally decide that I will let you see good examples of who a Christian father is supposed to be.
Mm.
And then where I work, people will also see the same thing. So I'm not calling people to go out there and do something, or Jesus is not calling people to go out there and do something that is not within our grasp.
Mm-hmm.
Start from where you are, right? It will shock you the amount of influence you have wherever you are placed. So that's what the whole concept is about.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier that there are a few concepts in the book, and one of the ones that I found really interesting was, about the paralysis by analysis, because that's something that we
Yeah.
talk about in sports too. So maybe talk a bit about the process that you went on to write the book, and talk a bit about the paralysis analysis.
You know what? Like the first chapter is about it's about me. Yeah, because and it's not about analysis paralysis. It's a state where we overthink things to the level that we don't even make a move. We are paralyzed by
Mm-hmm.
overthinking it. So I was the type, when I thought about writing a book, I just thought about all the authors that have been um, in history, and I'm thinking, if I'm going to write like John Grisham, I'm going to write like this writer, Shakespeare, I need to get my act together, just
Mm.
research. If I'm going to write a Christian material, man, it must match up with these theologians, this. And I thought about all those things and everything. You're like, wow, then I'm still not qualified to write a book now. I must study for the next 20 years
Mm.
before I. But I realized that, so why am I going to wait for the next 20 years and think that I will be adequate by then? Because by the 20 years time, things will have become so advanced that I'll
Mm.
still feel. So anytime I felt that there was something I had to do, I gave myself excuses why it was not time. And I thought that quality of being somebody who analyzed and thought about things through, it's a very good quality. It's a very, very good quality that I think through decisions. I do not just get up and make decisions based on a whim, which is good. However, when you get to the place where thinking about that decision ends up making you not make that decision at all,
Mm.
that is where analysis paralysis comes in. So I don't know whether anybody else suffers with analysis paralysis, but I sure do. Like, and I'll say this, and I know I always, my one of my friends said, you always find an opportunity to talk about your wife. And I said, yes, I will. When I met my wife, I had been praying about her for 10 good years. I was 17 years old. I was in secondary school in Ghana, in a boarding school called Pokuari School. And I remember where I would pray that God give me this type of woman. Just prepare a wife for me, prepare a wife for me. And then when I was 27 years, I met my wife. And I was just like smitten on the first day. There's something like love at first sight. I was, and I'm smitten, but I just said, man, she is the one. But after a couple of weeks, I said, oh my goodness, am I just going to make a decision of the girl I'm going to marry in just a short time?
Mm.
Maybe I should wait for another year and see how it goes. You know what? Maybe
Okay.
I'm just getting. emotional. Maybe I should pray a bit more. You see, analysis paralysis was coming in.
Mm.
And I thank God for my youth pastor. He told me, yo, this is not time to slack. You've been praying for 10 years. God is not deaf. He must have heard you by
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So this is your time to let this girl know that you love her. And I just did. I thank God I listened. Later, when I spoke to my wife and I told her how I was thinking about waiting, she said, listen, if I allowed her to leave the shores of Ghana, that would have been over. And I would have still,
You'd have
I
still
would have
been praying
still
now.
been, oh, I would have still been praying and probably I would have been a drunk by now. You know what I'm saying? So what am I trying to say? Am I saying that get up and do? No. I'm not that shallow. What I'm saying is that when you are waiting for the opportune time to step out, it may never come.
Mm.
So don't be paralyzed by overly analyzing something. So that's that concept. I don't know whether I did justice, but that's my simplistic way of presenting that concept.
Okay. Cool. And like, what would you say through writing was like the chapter that meant the most to you, or was like the most touching for you to write?
Um, Probably that the first chapter.
Okay.
No, the first chapter. Listen, if the first chapter I was trying to write about myself. With the other chapters, I tried to write about certain things, but the first chapter is about this is how I'm feeling at the moment. This is what I felt. So I was very passionate. Like this, it is a very short book. And one of the reasons why I just cut the book to the size I cut is because I would have written a 40 chapter book if I could, because I would have still been writing. Because I thought
Mm.
I would have thought I don't want it to be too premature. So I would be writing and writing. So at the point I had to tell myself, enough is enough. Let me just present this material. I don't know whether it will be good enough, but I will not be guilty of being brought down or being kept down by analysis paralysis. I'm going to
Mm.
churn this material out there. Of course, I went through due diligence, like, we had editing, and I had you, and I had one of my friends in Ghana, Seth, and I had one of my sisters here, Elizabeth. We went through the editing we could. So
Mm.
I wasn't churning it out just half baked. At least as much as I could, I tried to put it through, but I didn't want to be guilty of being even ashamed to present it to people, because when I presented to some of my friends, they go like, "Wow, this needs a lot of pruning." I'm like, "Exactly, that's why I've come to you." So yeah, that's the first chapter.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, man. You see, I'm sure it's about 20 minutes at the moment. That's why. But you see, that's why I like spontaneous stuff, because if
Mm.
if I was prepared with questions and answers, it would have been like, you give me the question and I answer it, and then you go like, finish, let's move on to the next one. But now, because I'm having to think about what you've asked and answer it as best as I could, it makes it a bit more interactive. So thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate
No
it.
worries.
I think we should, yeah, we should do this again maybe next week or two if you're available, because
Cool.
um you went through the book, so you should have a bit more of very probing questions that it brings out a lot more out of the writer. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. And we will meet you guys on Facebook tomorrow, where I have another book review with my friend Casey. And then on Friday, I have a book review with my wife. I'm excited about that. And so, all the best go on my page. The link for the ebook is there. Get it. I'm not like promoting it. Like, I never thought I could do this, but when you write a book, you have to promote it.
Yeah,
I thought, man, how do people tell people to go and buy their books? But it looks like when you write one, you may have to promote it.
it just happens. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right, man. Thank you for your time. All right. Take care.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
All right, bye.